guys, welcome to the Biomedcast. So I'm here today with the other two co-hosts, Fananta and Hoitung.
Hello.
Hi guys.
So today we have our special guests, our BM120 seniors. Can you guys introduce yourself?
Hi, thanks for having us. My name is Tan Po Hang.
Hi, my name is Hirujan and my friends call me RJ.
So, since today's episode the title will be I'm Your Biomedical Science, What Lies Within. So, how are you guys now? Because, I haven't seen you guys in, for a while. How are you guys coping? Because I know you guys are in your internship. Yeah.
You want to go first or?
Sure. Okay, so I'll go first. So we've just finished our phase 1 internship, which is in either a research lab or diagnostics lab, be it overseas or be it local. And I actually took my phase 1 internship in AGTC Genomics, which is actually more towards a biotechnology company. Currently, both of us are posted in Sunway Medical Center.
How about you, Bohang?
Mine was actually at Sunway University. I actually had mine with another cohort mate. I was in the what was it called again? The Center for Vaccine and Virus Research. Specifically for mine, I did work on a specific compound against the dengue serotype 2 virus.
Oh.
But now, as he said, for my phase time with him in
You want to mention the name?
I don't want to mention it because we have a lot of things.
So how did you guys come up with the choices that you picked?
To be very honest, AGTC, I would like to use a quote which I saw online, which is actually called, it's not rejection, but redirection, because I actually applied to the Irish Embassy, but I actually got rejected because they were not actually having their overseas students there at that point in time. And the university that I applied to, which I would not name, they actually at first told me that they had an offer for me, but then at last they told me they would not give me an internship unless I finish my degree there, which I actually rejected. So what happened was actually I stumbled upon Prof. Leong, and apparently he opened up his own company. So I decided to try my luck and join them, and I can say it was a very fruitful and worthwhile experience.
So it was a good experience at the end.
Yeah, it was a good experience.
Oh, okay.
I still keep in touch with them until now. We just had lunch last week.
Oh, so you have a close connection with them now.
Very close.
Oh.
I can say it's the same for mine, not gonna lie.
How did you apply your phase 1?
I guess mine isn't as fruitful as what RJ experienced. I think mine was more like I wasn't sure where I wanted to go, and I just kind of stumbled upon it.
Oh,
And then I got advice from my other cohort mate who already applied to the Sunway University. So I just got the contact and all that. My cohort mate from who also went there with me, and I just basically emailed them and just back and forth until we got the contract.
Oh, okay.
But I think all our classmates since we're all selecting our internship places, and then we're also where do we go? Yeah.
The most popular one is the Institute Jantung Negara, right? And also UM. A lot of people choose that.
But would you say there's different advantages where you apply to, and maybe some disadvantages where you pick to go to?
I would say that no matter where you go, there will be pros and cons to each. For my own lab, because AGTC is more towards biotechnology company, so I was very, very inexperienced in all of the other things related to biomedical science. Like what we did previously, we did histopathology, we did gram staining and everything, right? But what I did most was actually whole genome sequencing, whole exome sequencing. But that is also an advantage, is that the procedures that I ran mostly towards DNA extraction or actually helped me to build a foundation towards a more biotechnological and more research-oriented goal instead of the traditional biomedical science in which you work in a diagnostics lab. But I, however, lack the necessary skills in a diagnostics environment.
I do agree with him. It's it depends on where you go also. Certain institutes, they might offer certain projects that are working. For mine, I said, I was working on with vaccine research, virus research. So I actually got to experience something I don't think we've experienced, like at least practically in IMU. Like at most we study about virus, like related any virus related like work is on through our classes and all that, but we don't really have any practicals with it. But going in there, I like genuinely felt like I learned a lot of new practical skills on like how to work with like viruses and all that. And on like advantages as well, from what I'm aware, AGTC they had like a fixed schedule, right? From like 9 to 5 or
Actually, for my working hours, it was more towards it's flexible, but I will have to finish up whatever procedure that we set out to do for the entire day before we can actually go home. So yeah, that's one of the advantages that I had.
like for mine was I guess it's somewhat similar, but more like it's depending on how we want to proceed with it. So let's say like I have to do a cell culturing on Monday, then I have to prepare like infect the cell on Tuesday, and then so on and so on and so on and so forth. Yeah, so my time is like genuinely like what flexible is like. You can come in whenever you want, you can go in whenever you want. But the main issue for my case was that they didn't provide us like access cards because they didn't trust like interns with it. that was a big problem for us because we couldn't do our work on weekends, so we had to stick to the schedule of like other master students who are also working there. So we can only come in with like the other stuff. We couldn't go in on our
So
time.
you were dependent on other people to actually go in
Yes.
and out. Okay.
Like I would come in on like 9 or something like that. I had to wait until 10 one day for somebody to come in.
Wow.
Like
my God.
the office was empty. I think it was like a public holiday at the time, and then there was like only one person who was gonna come in. She said she was gonna come in at 9:30, I believe, but ended up like she came in at 10. So I just waited there from 9 until like 10. But yeah, but it is flexible, but there was that also. The access card thing, I think it depends on where you go. I believe like other places they let you also. But one more thing I heard from my other cohort mates are that this isn't like a normal. For some places they might have like an actual like 9 to 5 for you. Like it's like a 9 to 5 lab work. I have a friend who went to the UK. She actually was like doing around similar to 9 to 5 when they had like fixed like Monday they do one procedure, Tuesday they do a procedure, Wednesday they do another procedure, and like they just been repeating the same procedure for like every single week. But they have to like a fixed schedule of 9 to 5. But for her case, it's like if you can finish it early, then you just go back earlier. Yeah. So again, it's just really the timing is really flexible sometimes.
So it depends on the place that you go lah.
Yeah.
So just now you also say like you learn a lot like from your internship places, like the things that you do not learn in IMU, right? So do you think like IMU has like done a good job in like preparing you to like step higher into the internship industry?
Can I go first? Sorry.
Okay, I guess I'll start first. I have no comment for this because the thing is, when you step out into internship world, it's really like you're working in the real world already. And IMU actually prepares mostly for us for the theory part. I don't know whether you agree with me with that or not. And the practicals part is they're just teaching you like basic practicals like gel electrophoresis. I speak for myself because I came from a genomics research company. So they prepared you like PCR, gel electrophoresis. However, in the real world, things may actually work differently. Like the procedures that we ran is actually very, very much different. And the work culture is also very, very much different. It's different than what you actually learn in a university. It's like university, if you want to come and go as you please, it's fine. Actually, there will be not a lot of repercussions, but in a working life, I think it's better for you to actually follow whatever the company sets out for you to do instead of what you set out to do it by yourself. So I guess a lot of it comes from how you actually like want to go out and see the world, because different places have different working culture, work-life culture, and work-life balance. So that comes from me.
Yeah, I do kind of agree with him. Like, what we study here is like, what we study here. Sure, you might be able to see like some application outside, but when you go into the internship, it really feels like a different place already. Like, I mean, we all know how to use like a pipette. You know?
Yeah.
For sure. We all know how to use a pipette. We know like how to wear proper PPE, how to do like basic sanitation. But like when you start actually working like the procedures, they appear like you feel like you know what they are. Like let's say like an entire like procedure, you recognize bits of it. But when you see it all together, it feels like completely different.
Mm.
Like I had to run multiple assays. The procedures, like what I said, pipetting and then like doing a lot of that. Even cell culturing, we have some experience with that also as well, right? Like even cell culturing, I kind of know how to do already, but by itself it's simple to do. But when you look at the entire procedure, and then in the same time you're also running multiple assays as well. You're not like usually they won't let you like tell you to like, oh, you're going to be doing this and you just do I'm going to do this. Or they ask you to do multiple different like maybe different projects or maybe different assays so that they can use your internship time more efficiently. Like when you combine everything together, it really feels like it really feels like what I'm doing. Granted, after like a few weeks, you feel more comfortable after a few weeks. So like definitely the initial few weeks, even I can speak for myself. The initial few weeks at the was like both scary and intimidating.
Yeah, I would like to add on to that as well. Honestly speaking, when I first joined my company, I was also at a loss because the procedures may seem simple. Yes, it looks very superficial when all you do is pipette, wait, or maybe like you run a few steps, run a few procedures. It looks simple on paper, but once you actually start doing it, you can actually feel yourself shaking. Yeah. Yeah. And right now, it's like the company trusts me that I can actually go and help them from time to time.
And the shaking part for you. Really, the shaking, he's not even like, the shaking part isn't like an exaggeration or even like describing it. It's a literal thing.
Yeah.
You'll feel like your first day you're doing a procedure, it's like, why am I shaking so much? Even though I've done this before already.
Yeah, especially in Sem 3, right? We have like our biotech module, and it's all just like about pipetting every day. So like I agree about the shaking part, because like it's our first time doing it also that time. Yeah.
After some time, just goes
Yeah,
away.
pipetting is a skill you need to train very much.
So, what happens if like your first week and you're nervous, like you guys just described, and you make a mistake? Has that ever happened to you?
Honestly, okay, for my part, right, I did not make a mistake on my first week.
Oh.
I made a mistake on my third week.
Oh, that's even worse.
Well, okay, because during my third week, right, I was supposed to do a whole genome sequencing procedure. It took about 3 hours. I finished preparing everything. And then once I finished every step, I forgot to elute the library and I threw the library away. So I had to redo the entire procedure on the next day. But like what they said, mistakes actually help you to learn better, and I did not like made a mistake ever since then up until this point. Because right now, every time I tell myself to actually read the procedure carefully and know when to throw or elute the sample out. So I guess it's a good thing also because my seniors there are very helpful as well. They told me don't like be too harsh on myself and say we all made a mistake at least once, and they told me that they also made the mistakes, like they also made those mistakes in the past, and tell me it's just my first time, don't make it the last, ensure it's the last. So that's what I've been keeping in my head the whole time.
Yeah, like what the last I really agree with is like what he said in the last sentence, like if you make a mistake now, then you'll learn in the future as well. Like for my case, it wasn't like any major mistake, I guess. It was just more like okay, it's actually really kind of bad also, but I wasn't using like any viruses. Wasn't using any viruses. So I was just using like culture media. So I spilled a bit culture media out. It was like you know how like you've seen the 24-well culture plates before, right?
Yeah.
I accidentally moved it a bit and then it spilled out a bit. Yeah, there was that situation. I just cleaned it up myself. I didn't really report because it wasn't infected yet. That was one mistake. I made sure like whenever I'm working like the culture place, if I filled it up already, I just move everything aside, like away from the well plate, so I don't push it. But there was a major mistake. If I go into it, it might be a bit wrong because like again the culture, yeah, the culture the culture media because I think this is add on to like what internship is like we have the lecturers, the lab assistants all preparing our stuff for us, right? We have to prepare our own like media, our own reagents. Well, not necessarily all the reagents. Sometimes they might have like maybe like the specific compound or antibodies they prepare for us. But like sometimes like PBS, the culture media, you have to prepare it yourself. They have like a stock media already. You need to prepare yourself. Yeah. Me and my other, there was actually we were working with another intern from Monash. Yeah. We ran out of culture media already, so we were preparing our own stock. So everything looked fine. We followed everything. We followed all like the procedure for like doing everything in the BSc. using spraying alcohol before everything. Yeah, you know the basic stuff.
Yeah.
A few weeks later, not really, 1 week later actually, we were doing cell culturing. We let it incubate. And a few days later, turned out it was contaminated.
Oh.
The culture media was contaminated, but at the time we didn't realize that. So we thought it might be like the trypsin. We used trypsin to what's the word so that we can detach the cells, so we can use it for further cell passaging. Yeah, at first we thought it was the trypsin, so when we replaced the trypsin, it still happened. Then we thought it was the PBS. We didn't suspect the media at all because we did everything. We thought we did everything according to the procedure already. So we thought it was PBS. We replaced the PBS. It still happened. We replaced the media. Now it wasn't contaminated anymore. And then it was both like a big revelation and a big hit to our faces, because it wasn't like the bottle wasn't like a small bottle. It was I think almost 1 liter, this kind of bottle as well. The big kind of bottles as well. So we were a bit worried to tell our supervisor. I mean, we did tell her in the end, but that was a bit embarrassing. We found out it was the bottle, so we changed the media, and then we proceeded with our procedure. The problem is we wasted that 3 weeks already actually. That because our internship was supposedly 2 or 3 weeks, 3 months, right?
Yeah, supposedly it's about 3 months.
Yeah, about 3 months. We spent almost 1 month trying to figure out what was the problem. So because our procedure was 1 day of cell culturing, then we incubate it for 4 days or like that. Then the next day we do immunostaining on the infected cells. So one procedure took 1 week. So that's why we only could do the culturing once per week. Yeah, so it was really we wasted 3 weeks. We could have done 3 essays in that time period, but no, they all got contaminated. That was the biggest blow for us, I guess, because in the end, I was tasked to do 3 different essays. I managed to get results for 2, and another one I not managed to get results at all. But even the one that I got results, one of them was not satisfactory at all. But so yeah, it was I think that was the biggest mistake. Even though it sounds like just the cultural media being contaminated, it sounds like it's a really simple thing. But that 3 weeks it really had a big impact. So definitely you learn from your own mistakes, especially with something that big. Or if you're wondering what the supervisor said, we told her, she was really nonchalant about it, but she said, "You know how expensive it is a bottle or not?"
So it's like a passive scolding.
Yeah, she was really passive aggressive. And I just sat there I can't do much because it was actually our fault. I just sat there just accepting it, yep, you're not wrong. It wasn't just the bottle. We had to add other reagents and antibiotics inside as well. So we wasted that also. So it was just I just kind of sat there and accepted it when we were just telling her everything.
Okay, so cause you guys did the diagnostic for the phase 1, right?
We actually did at least for us we did research. That was research work.
Research.
Yeah.
So how do you get the maximum exposure to the research?
I guess the best thing you can actually do is communicate more with people, because my phase 1 is my doctors and my supervisors and the staff in my lab were actually very, very friendly and very, very helpful. And actually, I skipped 1 week because after the first week in my internship, I got COVID. Yeah, I got COVID and then I missed out a week. But after that, my doctor and my supervisor started entrusting me to run simple procedures already. After that, I started running all of the lab's procedures, and that's when actually I got treated like a staff. I started doing all of the some of the staff's work as well, whole genome, whole exome sequencing, DNA extraction of the blood and saliva samples, and the lab chip washing and storage, making of the dye and everything as well, etc. There's a lot more, because another thing that I actually managed to get exposed to is actually a workshop in which I got a certificate from it as well. So the most important thing I think from internship, how can you actually gain the most out of your phase 1 internship is, normally phase 1 research labs, the staffs are actually very, very nice. So best is you can ask more questions, number 1, be more proactive, and then trust yourself to actually handle these procedures. Do not think that you are just an intern. you think that you are already there, make the most out of it and learn the most out of it. Yeah, that's what I can say.
I mean, he's not wrong. Just ask more questions, do more, and then like believe in yourself. Yeah.
A good tip.
Just do. Yeah. Just if when you have the opportunity, or maybe you don't know what's going on. Even if like you see like. Because again, my research lab was like multiple other master students as well. Like when because we have a lot of incubation time, like 1 hour incubation time, or maybe like even 1-2 hour one. Yeah, we just like sometimes we want to look around and see what the other master students what they're doing. We just go ask, what you're doing, like what is this procedure and all that. Then being proactive, basically like asking more questions, and then like doing whatever you can. Like preparing your own. Don't wait for other people to like help you out. Like prepare your own like reagents. Or maybe even like clean up, because I think this is an additional, because we're doing the virus work, we have to actually prepare like use bleach. They actually for our sanitation, we actually need to like not just put it in a discard jar, discard beaker or anything. We just have to actually put it in like a container with a bleach, 10% bleach. With bleach, we had to put it in and then like let it soak for a day. Then the next day we come back and clean it up. Like the bleach. Yeah, I think that's a really simple thing. That's a really simple thing. But like one of the master students said, like if you need it, you can just prepare it yourself, because a lot of people need it also. So like even if they prepare it like early on in the morning, people are gonna use it up a lot already. So yeah, so ask questions, be proactive, and believe in yourself.
I think I need to add more in the believing in yourself part. It may sound simple and sometimes it may sound like a bit funny, but the thing is, I think a lot of the skills and even the pipetting also requires you to believe in yourself, because sometimes you may overthink and then your hand may shake because you'll be like, am I doing this right? Or is this the right step? But because actually I told myself after 1 or 2 weeks that I can do this, so I start to steady my hand already. So I think a big part in believing in yourself is also trusting yourself that you can do these procedures and you will have to do them by yourself in the future, and you can't rely on anyone but yourself anymore.
Yeah, ironically, if you're worried about making mistakes, you might end up making more mistakes because you're too focused on trying to get it right. But you might end up like not forgetting another thing, like what I did with the well plate. Too focused on pipetting and I accidentally pushed it.
Yeah, I agree with him. Yeah.
Also, like, I'm curious, like, when you enter, right, like, how competitive or, like, challenging it is between your peers? Like, maybe some academic tension or anything? Because in our cohort, right, like, recently the concern has been just, like, revolving a lot around the, like, FYP, the internship,
Yeah, it's so competitive, especially for the internship. Some of us like because like for example a lab they only accept two people, like in our cohorts, for example like IJN Institute Jantung Negara, they for example 10 people are applying, so they might be competitive, and some of my classmates will come over like, can you like give up or like give me the chance, something like that.
Wow,
like,
that sounds very
because even the lecturers doesn't want to like
they ask the lecturer asked us to like
talk among ourselves.
Because I'm the class rep, right? So I have to arrange all the names of their preferred option and everything. So she told me, make sure that not too many people pick the same preference. Okay. So I was like, okay, but how am I gonna do that? Because
exactly.
Yeah, right. The more popular option, there'll be a lot. So she said, you get them in a group and ask them who should leave. So yeah, because if not, then they would have to give it to our lecturer, who will sort it out for them, and it'll be more random. So instead of them having the opportunity to actually discuss among themselves, they'll get based on random generator or whatever. So do you have this instance with you guys? Because I know our cohort is a bit bigger than yours. We have 56. We started off with around 64, but narrowed down to 56. So like, has this happened to you prior to your internship?
We had 39.
We had 39.
So we didn't really have that. Plus, I was one of the few who like pick my spots at the very end.
Oh.
So like I kind of just let everybody. I mean, not let everybody lah. It's more like I just didn't know what to go, so I just sat there and see what's left.
I think my general advice is, because you guys are going for diagnostics first, right? Honestly speaking, it's actually very, very hard to actually like get a spot anywhere in diagnostics, because I can speak for him and for myself is that I also picked my choices very late because of the redirection I got from the Irish embassy. But however, because my company was very new and I was like the second intern there, honestly. I was the second intern from AGTC. Yeah. And then Melissa was the first. She is from Monash and she left already. But the thing is, from what I can say is maybe you can give them advice, tell them maybe look for other options like what all of us actually have done, because some of us actually like look at different options as well. We did not just settle for one, we looked at different options, and at the end wherever we picked is also some of us, wherever we picked, it was really different from wherever we picked from the very beginning. Because even from the beginning I told Dr. Lim I want to go to Ireland and she wrote down Irish embassy or pending, but at last I finished my internship here and yeah, I guess a part of me is still there. Yeah.
You're just advertising it right now.
So yeah, so Bohang, you're surprised that we're doing diagnostic first,
I'm actually
right?
surprised, because we did research first.
So based on your experience now, what do you think of doing diagnostics before the industry?
You would
touching?
definitely enjoy it.
Is it better that way?
Diagnostics before research is definitely better, because even though research sounds like a lot of work, you have a lot more fun there, because you'll be a lot more free, you'll be a lot more doing. It depends, because I would say that diagnostics is more focused on repetitive work, or research is more on like how should I'm trying to think of an analogy. Like diagnostics is trying to get repeated results, while research is trying to get perfect results. So you'll be trying to like figure out problems in research, trying to figure out like how do you want to achieve this, how do you want to do this. Then along the way you make mistakes, and you're gonna learn, and then you feel like accomplish something. But for diagnostic, it feels like you're looking at the same sample, doing the same thing over and over again. I'm not saying diagnostics is bad or anything, but it's rather it's based on a personal preference. If you like helping, if you like handling like repeated results, or maybe you're into like, let's say, hematology, then you like handling like hematology like samples, then you can go with diagnostics. You might enjoy diagnostics more than research. But on a personally, research definitely was like an eye-opening experience for me. So that's why I enjoy it a lot more than diagnostics.
Yeah, to be honest, for me, I also have to agree with what he said, because in a diagnostics lab, things work very differently than in a research lab. In the diagnostics labs, they are actually very hectic, and if you go in there the first week, like let's say even if they hire you as a permanent staff, you might not know what you're doing and you can only observe. But for research lab is that because most of the research are actually private scale industries. I don't know whether you agree with me on this or not. So research, you definitely can learn a lot more. And of course, the people that you actually build, because diagnostics, honestly, in a diagnostic setting, everything is so big and you mix with a lot of people, yeah, but the thing is, do you actually remember who you actually mix with? Yeah, that's the problem. And do you actually remember who actually are willing to teach you? Because a diagnostics lab setting is so hectic that sometimes even they themselves are actually their hands are full and they couldn't even guide you. So all you can do is actually observe most of it. But for research, it's like you'll definitely get a lot of exposure and experience and also a lot of fun there. That I do agree.
And also, if you want a bit insight on like diagnostic labs, like have you guys chosen your diagnostic labs already that you're going for?
So far, we haven't yet, because there's a lot of options, either hospital, private, or public.
Personal, like what I've seen so far, I'm not sure if it's like this is just a double confirm. I'm not sure if it's allowed lah. That's what I'm saying.
It's okay, you can cut it off if it's
in case it's not lah. But like first, from what I've seen, especially with the other my other co-mates also, government hospital, government labs, they will let you do a lot more hands-on, a lot more work than private hospitals. Like I believe, like in some of my co-mates, they are in the government hospitals, especially like Pantai. They are actually letting them handling a lot of like patient samples. Even like they will let, even though some of them are like more admin work, like keying in results and maybe like labeling the samples, they rotate. yeah, this is the thing in diagnosis. You will be rotated between different departments also, so you'll be able to like do new things as well. But in the private hospitals, i.e. us, I would say because again it's private, they don't want to like their name. I guess I don't want to speak for them, but like sometimes they might be like they don't want to tarnish their name or something. They don't want like they don't want any like patient sample to go like to be like misdiagnosed or maybe ruined. So they rather let you like observe, or maybe rather let you do with these patient samples. Some private labs they might let you do like the labeling part, like labeling, or maybe patient patient sample like transportation and all that. Yeah, but like I would say a decent chunk will just make you observe.
Oh.
Okay, this is just a personal. This is a personal to you guys. They made us they just basically because apparently. Okay, no, this one will go on, right? Because apparently like another intern from like a month ago, an intern from.
Who are we talking about?
There was an intern from I think there was an intern from another university.
Let's not mention the university.
Okay, let's not mention it. Okay, sorry. Another intern from basically last month. You remember like the blood tubes, right?
Yeah.
Blood
The
tube.
vacuum right? They had there was a sample already. For that specific machine, a really big machine, they were supposed to take on the cap, and then only put the sample in, then they have a tube to go into the sample to do the test. Apparently, the intern didn't like take off the cap, so the machine just went into the vacuum and the whole machine broke.
Oh.
So because of that, they changed their policy. They changed their policy so that students. And they are in our supervisor onwards. Students can only observe. The worst part, at least for us, because there are 4 of us, the worst part for us was that like we applied and then we got everything done 3 months ago. The policy change was last month, so we didn't know at all. So we went in expecting some any experience and all that, but we end up just like standing there like these 2 weeks we just stood there and watch people do it. No, we ended up just like again not going on, right? We ended up just like walking off to other places. we went to we went to Mama Lepak.
How is it? And they actually wanted to apply in there, but I just told them like don't share this, but based on my own experience, the only benefit I got was meeting potential new friends and a soulmate. That's all.
I'm not gonna comment on this one.
Did you find one?
I'm just joking.
Thirdly.
Oh.
Okay, but yeah, don't share this in your group lah. Just like share it maybe personally like. Cut it off. Everyone to know.
Okay.
Everyone needs to know, but not publicly. Not the soulmate thing, right? I turned my mic off. Sorry about that. So like, for my current like internship, like the phase 2 internship, the hospital like it has a lot of budget. So like I guess they are like they have a lot of budget, so they have a lot of like big equipment. I mean, of course they won't let us touch it, but like for other smaller budget places, like maybe like I feel like government hospitals are specific, more especially lah. They are still using like manual labor, manual tests for everything. So like I guess I wouldn't. A mistake is still a mistake, but I guess the biggest like problem you might face is like mishandling the patient sample, like maybe like misdiagnosing it, or maybe like mislabeling. Mislabeling is actually bigger than misdiagnosing. I mean, they are both big, but like if you mislabel a patient sample, what if that patient, let's say that patient has like that blood sample has HIV. This one A has HIV, B doesn't have HIV, but you make it so that A has HIV. You might have cost somebody's life in that situation. That's why you need to be really careful. Even regardless of any mistakes, you need to be really careful. And also, that's also why they will like definitely let you observe first, then let you like watch you do the work first.
Yeah, to be very honest, the reagents used for whole genome sequencing is very, very expensive, and I made that mistake once. Yeah, the thing is, making mistakes, I wouldn't say making mistakes is a very bad thing, because you actually learn more from mistakes than you actually learn from success, whether you agree with me or not. However, it's best for you to actually be more vigilant and try not to make mistakes, because yeah, it may cost a life, lucky for mine is I'm just working with saliva samples, but the reagents that I use, no lie, are actually very, very expensive. Yeah, you can actually find these reagents online. They go from USD, like, let's say 200 to USD 1,500 just for the reagents itself, not for the whole procedure. So yeah, that is why it's better to be more vigilant, especially when you're doing anything outside, especially when you're not in IMU also, because you will be representing IMU in some sort of a way.
Yeah, he just reminded me of how expensive the coaching is. I'm like so.
Feeling guilty.
Yeah, I feel very guilty. Yeah, I remember that mistake too. Same.
So since you guys are already like in your internship and like if I can say like exposed to the outside world, so do you think like how do you think like the biomed career prospects is like are they really on demand like the graduates and stuff? Yeah.
I'm gonna say something very controversial. Malaysia, no. If you want, if you want anything related to biomed, go overseas. Anywhere, even Singapore is fine also. But you need to find a good like a perfect research place. Like Malaysia is more focused on selling the biomedical stuff rather than doing any research or anything like that.
Oh.
Yeah, I have to agree with him. For research, I would also suggest you to go overseas. Even my supervisors from AGTC suggested me to go overseas for research project. However, like what he said, it's very controversial because it's not to say you won't find a job here. You can find a job here. In fact, I think like even for my company, they're hiring and they're actually asking me when I graduate. But going back there, I would only be part of either the marketing stuff or maybe I'll only help out with like training the interns or the small stuff in the lab because a lot of these like labs they actually have already hired their max capacity already, and usually like even for public labs, right, you can see there's a lot of people there. However, the demand is still there. It's whether it's actually up to whether that job interests you or the prospects interest you or not. However, like what he said and like what I agreed, if you want to go for a more research oriented goal or if you want to go for further studies, it's best for you to go overseas.
They really care about profit margins in Malaysia. So like even if you have a lot of experience, they might like see if you're like you want an expensive, like you really want a high salary, they probably won't go for you also. Like they really want to like they really want to get what's the word? They really want to make sure that they're making money in Malaysia.
So in terms of like job, have you like considered like jobs that outside of lab? Because so some of us in our cohort are actually thinking of looking beyond lab. So anything that's related to biomedical science that is non-lab related, you know.
I believe they are actually like consultants, like for certain products. Like certain like if that product is related anyway to biomedical science, you might be able to like be a consultant for them, like making sure that that product is like up to like a standard, maybe up to like code with like regulations and all that. I believe there are like jobs like that. Is it?
Okay, for my part is that they are like what he said, consultants they are, but if you want to dive like outside, right? Like I said, marketing is also maybe a good idea. You can be a marketing executive, maybe for like a pharmaceutical company. Because actually there are seniors who actually went to like AstraZeneca or even Roche. They instead of doing lab work, they did marketing or they do bioinformatics. For AGTC, we just had a new bioinformatician, and she's helping us to actually analyze the DNA that we actually sequence from the NovaSeq 6000 that we actually have. So if you guys want to actually like branch out and explore, there's a whole new world out there. It just depends on what actually interests you. Yeah. For lab, like other things other than lab work, like I said, you can either go for marketing, you can even be bioinformatician, or you can go insurance, you can even dive into computer science. Yeah, it all depends on actually what you guys actually want.
Because Mananta, like you ever said yourself, you wanna like you're going for a sales executive, right?
Yeah, so I think it's kind of hard during because Dr. Lim actually allowed us during our research, industry attachment, to find one that is not in the lab. So they actually changed the rule where students are more open to find their own. And so you guys did research for your industry part, right? So I'm actually trying in medical sales rep. I'm trying to find. It's kind of hard especially in Malaysia, I don't think there's much opportunities as an intern, obviously, to dive into medical's sales rep. You know.
I think in Malaysia for that kind again the profit margin thing, they probably like really want to find those kind of like really experienced people because they want to get like the maximum profit. But I feel like overseas you might have the chance.
Actually, right? Do you still want to record this? Can I say something off the camera?
Okay.
How about Debbie? Are you like interested like going like outside lab or anything?
To be honest, I don't know.
It's okay. There's still time. I mean, you're just starting your internship, right? Yeah. You see like what you like. Like go through diagnostic phase first and see if like because even though it's like repetitive work, it's still lab work also. If you get the chance to do any lab work, you might see if you like this kind of work or not. So like further on when you're phase 2, industrial attachment, you might see if you like research stuff or maybe like what Fernanda is going for.
Because honestly, diagnostics is going to be a lot more hectic, and we have seniors from our our diagnostics lab attachment as well, right? And I see them, right? They do enjoy the life there, but they tell me it's very, very hectic. They have to like do everything very, very fast, systematic, and safe and secure at the same time. So it depends on your preference also, whether you are the kind that actually prefers this kind of hectic life, hectic lab work, but also quick and like let's say secure, or do you like to go for a more relaxed and a more your own pace, like follow your own pace attachment?
Yeah, like diagnostics is definitely focused on efficiency.
Yeah.
If you can be efficient, I don't lab work is not lab work, diagnostics probably isn't like your kind of thing. If you don't like to be like 24/7, not 24/7, sometimes 24/7. If it's like really like like with corona or something, you've seen like doctors being like at work for like so 24/7 just that checking the samples. Yeah. If you don't like doing that kind of repetitive work, really that you shouldn't really go for diagnostics in the future.
Because diagnostic is it's a repetitive work. Is it good for like enhancing your skills?
In a way, yeah, actually, because it depends on the hospital or it depends on the lab. They might rotate you also with different departments. So like first week you'll be like a hematology. Second week you might go to, I mean, not that drastic. They might send you to like another similar like chemical like a laboratory or something like that. So you'll be able to be exposed to like different like the different departments and different kind of skills. I mean, if you work for multiple months or maybe multiple years, you definitely go back to the same lab. But from there, you definitely be able to grow experience from like different departments.
Okay, so like while we're on this topic, right? Can I ask like what are you guys plan for like the future? If you have any like goals and stuff, yeah.
You can go with this one.
So my goal is to be a CSGO streamer. No, I'm just joking. Cut that out.
Okay, we're not cutting that out.
So all right. Okay. So the thing is, honestly speaking, after this, right, I really, really want to take a master's project or a PhD project because at the end of the day, my end goal is always like being a lecturer. I actually like to teach people. So. But the thing is, I also have to keep into account that I have this company, like they are actually might be waiting for me to actually rejoin the team. So the thing is, right now, I'm actually like going with the flow and seeing what opportunities will actually take me because right now I think my CV is quite polished, I can say. So I actually am just looking at the opportunities presented itself to me because like what I said, I still have a long way to go. So maybe if work life is not yet here for me, maybe I can continue on with my master's first with a good like let's say with a good scholarship and everything. Perhaps I can follow up and then further my studies first. But if let's just say if it really calls for it, then yeah, I'll definitely try to rejoin AGTC and continue working for them and then see where life takes me, I guess, because I actually like said before, there's still a long way to go. We will graduate like maybe about November, around there we'll get our degree. So there is still a long way to go and there is still a long way for me to actually think and plan out what do I really want to do. Whether I want to continue my studies in IMU itself with their bursaries and scholarships, or whether do I want to expand my horizons and go overseas like let's just say Taiwan or the UK or even the United States.
Honestly, I feel like I'm just like him going with the flow. Like he has it more planned out than me already for sure. Like my case is just like maybe I might continue studying. I'm not sure. Like actually some time back, I actually thought about experiencing diagnostics first. Diagnostics first to see if I like it, because maybe if maybe I'm fine with like repetitive work, and then I can go to have like a stable job at the hospital. So far, I feel like I don't want to go into diagnostics
Oh.
at all. So like I'm thinking maybe now I might like continue studying, getting for my master's or PhD. But my family really wants me to go overseas to continue my studies. That's one thing. Yeah, but that's still in debate in my mind because of, it's you know, some complications at home.
Oh.
Because like it's a bit complicated at home, but like they really want me to go overseas to continue my study.
The thing is, I always wanted to go overseas, like since my semester 1. But then, growing up, I just realized that I have everything I need and I have everything I want here. So, might as well I just continue here, because, like I said, life is not like set on wherever you want to go. There may be like hurdles along the way, but I'm glad that I came this far, and I'm glad that I met so many friends along the way, lah.
So
But the thing is, right, but the thing is, sometimes maybe going overseas, like, it's good that you actually can get the exposure overseas, yes. But I also have to put into account the fees and everything, and
yeah, that's actually
yeah. So I guess, like what he's doing, I'm also going with the flow, but I'm also trying to plan out along the way what do I really, really want to do. Because to me, like, gaming is just a hobby.
Yeah, his flow is way bigger than mine. Mine is just like a small little wave only.
Maybe RJ could be like a CS:GO streamer in the future, like.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I would cry to see that.
I mean, I'm already streaming right now.
Oh, you can spell your YouTube account here if you want, like.
Do it.
Okay, so like, since you guys are on your final year, right? Like, are there any like memorable experiences in IMU with your friends or anything? Yeah, you can tell what they were.
I think the most memorable experience I have is with my final year project, because all of us were stressing out with a doctor whom I shall not be named. Yeah. Okay. So basically, she made all of us almost cry and gave us a lot of pressure. But up until the very end, we were all glad that we actually made it. And I think those of you who actually like seen my Instagram story, I posted FYP group that survived. Yes. Okay. But I think the most memorable experience I have of this university so far is like, no, I don't want to sound cheesy, but it's like meeting all of my friends and also my batchmates here, even those friends from foundation as well, because like what you guys said, like maybe it's fate where actually they all bring you to one single place, but you have to know that these friends are the ones that actually help you along the way to shape who you are right now and to shape who you might be in the future, whether you're destined for, you may be destined for greatness, or you may be destined for things greater than what you already are right now. It's also thanks to the people that you actually already met right now. As for what I said, yeah, I used to tell myself that I hate genomics, but right now, yeah.
Oh, you're in love.
Love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
Why is suddenly so fucking okay, why is suddenly so wholesome today? I'm so sorry.
Well, how about you, Bang? Is your answer also as wholesome as RJ's?
I won't make it sound like that, but like there was definitely a lot of like memorable moments in my uni time. Honestly, I would say like my high school, even my pre-U, I was actually like Form 6 for my pre-U. Even
Oh,
oh, really? You did?
Oh.
Where did you go for? Where did you go actually?
Where?
I mean, like what college did you go?
Oh, in Penang.
Penang. Okay, then I probably don't know. I thought it was KL. But yeah, but like I met my Form 6 was memorable as well, honestly speaking. But I met like only quite a few friends that I've been in contact with. But, like for IMU, like uni life in general has, even though it's been kind of sad because of COVID, like we've been like doing online from Sem 1 until like mid Sem 3, I think. And then even like up to Sem 4, we were still a lot limited. So I missed out. I think I missed out on a lot of like potential like events in IMU. That's why I'm kind of like jealous of you guys also, because you're able to like partake in a lot of events. But yeah, I had a lot of experiences, a lot of memorable experiences. Especially with like that's what you mentioned. You guys knew I was staying to study with some other co-mates, right? Yeah, that was definitely a lot of stuff happened there. A lot of stuff happened. Not bad stuff. Don't worry. Not bad stuff. Not bad stuff. Like a lot of memorable stuff. Like I really cherish like my friends. there's actually we have a group of us from like 1 to I really cherish them. Especially because actually honestly speaking, during like the semi lockdown times where we like allowed to go out still and now, sometimes we will go like to the dorm because we just call it like a something dorm. I'm not gonna say this in front of me, but yeah, just the dorm. We will like hang out there until like from afternoon until like nighttime. Like we after year S, we will like maybe we will go for dinner, then we will come back and then we will just hang out there. Alcohol will be involved sometimes. Occasionally.
Oh.
Nothing bad happened, but we're just like kind of just like a really chaotic there a bit. So like yeah, I guess most of my memories were from like staying in the dorm. I guess because a lot of stuff happened there, good stuff, bad stuff. But yeah, overall it was like really it's ingrained in my mind. Yeah.
I saw like you guys stayed over like at one unit and then someone was playing the guitar.
You want to name that someone or not? It's okay, advertise it so let more people know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marcel. Marcel is really talented.
I asked him once to teach me the guitar, you know.
He's too shy. Too shy already, Marcel. Marcel will teach her to play the guitar.
This is life.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, since like we're also starting our final year project also, and like the BM122 juniors are entering their SEM 2. Like, do you have any advice for us, like for the rest of the SEM or anything?
Okay, can I say something off camera first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so for my real advice is for final year project, right? Maybe go for whatever you guys actually have interest in, because the supervisor, be it helpful or not, it may actually help you gain more experience on what you actually want in the future. For my own final year project, yes, it's about gene signatures, but it's more towards bioinformatic work, and I decided not to do that.
Can I cut in for a bit?
So yeah.
You say that the juniors are coming in, right?
Yeah.
Why are we talking about final year project already?
Oh.
We're
You guys are taking it.
we're
right?
in the final year project, and then
okay.
there's one more
One more group,
cohort.
right?
Yeah.
Did you guys pick already your final year
Yes.
project?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you wanna know who we picked?
I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean who, also what project you picked.
Okay, you can go first.
I went for Dr. Chai's the cancer. It was about cancer
yeah, I
and
think
cell
that one is
culture.
fine. I heard that one was okay.
That was good.
Yeah.
And my project, I think it's a newer project. It's with the lecturer from pharmacy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's about screening Streptococcus species on like keyboards, face masks, virtual learning room, and
That's why.
because it's actually so how he describes it, it's a low budget mini research project. So it's also a new, because he usually does FYPs for pharmacy and pharm chem, and this is his first time with biomedical science. So he's kind of new to our cohort and everything. So yeah, I'm actually kind of interested because I was looking for something microbiology related, and the other option was taken. So I didn't get to choose the other ones, but so this one is the one that I got.
I think it's good.
Yeah, it sounds interesting actually.
Yeah.
It sounds really interesting.
Because Streptococcus bacteria can be found anywhere. Even Streptococcus pyogenes is on formed biofilm.
So it's also like an exploratory research, so it has no hypothesis. So it's just based on the findings that we get. And
It's
then,
very
yeah.
good.
What about yours? Sam?
Mine is from Prof Hall. He's a new professor in MU. He previously in UCSI. So his project is about gene. We investigate the gene in orang asli. They even went to, like, for example, village to take their blood, and then they generate data for us to investigate the gene. So basically, we're not going to lab. It's all digital. Like bioinformatics, we use software like Trimix, something like that, and then we investigate their gene and get the data.
But yeah, so that's the research project that we pick. And so what do you guys think about the
I think it
research
sounds
project?
it's good. I don't know, yours is good. I feel like yours, Hui Tong's more is more Hui Tong, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hui Tong's project is more similar to
I
our
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, bioinformatic work, but it depends on
The
like
lecturer also.
yeah, where you want to go in the future lah. Because right now you're doing bioinformatics, right? Have you started? Not yet. No,
we are
not
just
yet.
writing the introduction. We are working on the proposal right now.
Oh, okay.
Ah, okay.
So bioinformatics work mainly computer based, and also I think you'll be exposed to fast kill data, which is what my company uses. And since you say they actually collected blood, right? There's a very high chance my company has actually sequenced the blood samples. Yeah.
Advertising again.
Yeah. Because
Yeah, I think mine is as simple as a systematic review, and I regret it. If
Oh,
you know
it's-
systematic review, do you have like choice for systematic?
Yeah, we do.
review?
Yeah, yeah.
We do.
Yeah, it
It-
was
It's the solo project. Right?
Solo
Yeah.
project.
Oh.
a solo project sounds good on paper. You don't have to do any. Don't have to do it. You have to worry about like doing anything with other people until you try it. Because like my project was like involving like algae.
Okay.
Finding like the antidiabetic potential in like algae compounds. So I had to go through multiple is an understatement. I had to go through like what, at least 400 plus papers.
Wow.
And then from there, I only managed to like get I forgot already lah, but I think it was like 116. I used the abstract lah. I mean, use the title first. Yeah, that's how you should like be doing it lah. You find like you use the title and see how many of them like may be potentially good. Then you look at the abstract and then you take the ones that like suit your like your criteria. What was it called again? What criteria again? Inclusion criteria.
Okay.
And the whatever is like fits your inclusion criteria, and then from there you narrow it down from like what they've specifically done, like what kind of data and what basically is their data like this in your inclusion data inclusion criteria as well. Then from there I went from 400 to 82 to like around 59 or 16, I forgot already, 50 people. And then from there I had to like the species, then I had to screenshot the entire paper to find the specific compound and then what's the uses for it. It was a lot of work. I had like multiple like sleepless nights because of it, because of trying to rush it. So like another thing, I mean, this is just a suggestion. Some people might like this kind of like data collection work, but like I think I missed out on lab work, like the opportunity to do lab work because of the systematic review. And other people, my other co-mates, like even RJ, you didn't go to the lab, right?
yeah, even for mine bioinformatic work, no lab.
Yeah.
It's all dry lab, so you have to be prepared for that as well.
Yeah, like we're not trying to like scare you to your project is back. Just say like it's just a personal preference, but like if you really wanted to like get experience in lab work, you shouldn't go for like this kind of maybe bioinformatics or maybe like the systematic review. You should take the other projects because we didn't get to touch like the dry lab. We didn't get to touch the lab at all.
So during your whole FYP, you didn't spend a single time in the lab.
I spent all my time in the
I spent all my time at home.
It was actually slightly depressing. I guess it was just like every day I would just see like can I name names? Every time, not every time, but like, sometimes I would just like I would just be doing maybe like in my bed, just lying there because I was so bored about doing work already. Maybe like I just have my laptop on over there. Marcel will come in and sometimes Marcel will come in and tell me that I'm gonna go to the lab already. Yeah. And then he's like,
Okay.
okay, then he just go. And then I just stay there.
Aww.
Yeah. I mean, even lunch, I guess I was just like kind of too tired or maybe too bored already. I just like go there because there's actually a cafe that used to be there. There's a cafe. Just go there, like bungkus some food and just go back up to my room and just eat it there. And I spend most of my time in my room actually. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, because the thing is, right, even for my own lab, the thing is I have so much nothing to do, sorry, that right, I actually went and then I went to actually help Isaac and even Hannah in some of their own procedures because I really like, because for ours is, we all actually are quite a small project, it's just our supervisor. Yeah. So actually once things started to pick up, right, we actually managed to finish it relatively fast. And I've usually found myself nothing to do, but the others were stressing out with the lab work. So it really, really depends on what final year project you actually take. Both also has its pros and cons lah, actually. Yeah, I think FYP, it's not really a master's project, not a PhD project, but just do your best, gain the experience there for you to actually use, because you may actually use some of it in the future wherever you go, whatever you do as well.
You might get lucky and then your industrial like attachment, you might do something similar to FIP. Then you already have previous experience already.
That's true. Okay. I think then we've come to the end of the podcast.
That felt really quick.
It was actually 1 hour, 1 hour and plus. Yeah.
Yeah, with a lot of scenes RJ speaking off camera.
Mm.
But it's okay. We have a lot of. I think it was a memorable episode. Oh, we definitely learned a lot from you guys, and thank you for sharing your experience.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
You want more things off camera?
Yes, definitely.
Not really off camera.
Just like 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. We'll be off camera.
Okay.
Thank you again, once again, to our guests, and thank you everyone for watching. And you'll catch us on our next episode. Yeah.
Thank you.